Good evening.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, all. We like to just welcome you to another episode or a segment of Sisters in the Sandbox. I know for the past 2 weeks we have been on a hiatus due to things that was beyond our control, sickness wise and traveling wise. Yeah, so we were unfortunately unable to come on and have the different segments that we wanted to bring. But we're back in the swing of things, so we apologize. Usually, if it's beyond our control, when somebody's sick and stuff like that, we're not kind of jeopardizing anybody's health or anything like that. So
Exactly.
outside of that, we are back on tonight, however. And I'm just going to put my disclaimer out there as I always do. These are just based upon our experience as far as what we've been through personally. This does not make us expertise on the situation. However, it's basically
Hey,
our thoughts,
Tina.
our practice. Hey, Tina Team.
Good evening.
Our thoughts. Hey, sis.
Hey, T.
Our thoughts, our perspectives on the matter, and as far as what we experience. We welcome all feedback, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. We welcome it. Everybody has a voice. Everybody has their own perspectives and their own minds and thoughts and opinions. So whatever you feel, nobody is going to get knocked. We actually enjoy when we get the feedback from our audience. And on tonight, the topic is why does some men, because we're not going to say all, because not, you do have some men that do go, but for the majority of them, a lot of them, why do they think that going to therapy is taboo? And this is a topic that sis, the oldest one, has brought in for this evening. We're definitely going to ask for feedback from the guys as well as the women. However, whatever questions you might have for us, if you want us to give us hindsight as far as what it is to you personally, we welcome that as well always.
D. Meister said, do you have a podcast?
Who?
D. Meister.
Yes, this is our podcast. It's Sisters in the Sandbox, and we're also on YouTube as the same. It's Sisters in the Sandbox. It's on live for FB as well as on our YouTube channel. It's the same name. So we welcome feedback, definitely from you guys tonight, to help give us feedback on this topic. We want to make sure that everybody has a voice. Like I said, we welcome it. So we're going to jump in because these views are starting to jump up there. So again, the topic came from sis. Why do some men find therapy to be taboo?
Okay, now why I say that because like I was thinking, I went around on my job and I asked, most of the men, because you have more men than women on the job. The ratio is more than, men. So I went and asked every man, and believe it or not, some of the older ones, believe it or not, said they would do therapy. Tina said, Annie, check your inbox for announcements. Believe it or not,
Got you.
believe it or not, the younger ones, like my nephew, said he wouldn't do therapy. And it was like, what? So it was like a big uproar. Like, it was a big uproar. So my thing is, I want to know, because you have the thing now on television, like my thing as far as Black, because I did the men, when I did the statistic on the job, did the survey, I did the white Caucasians, I did Black African Americans.
So it was diverse, as we should.
Yeah, I did minorities as far as Hispanic and everything. And a lot of them gave me detail and what they thought, and they were saying that it would help, that they need the help. So I'm coming to you, and I'm just trying to find out from some of the men.
Got you, team. I'll announce it at towards the end of our pod. I'm gonna announce
from
it
some of the men, and I have one man here today to see how he feels about it. About men going to therapy, because I feel that, they had a commercial, and I don't know if y'all seen it, where Michael Phelps, the swimmer from Maryland, he's actually from Maryland. he had actually talked about therapy.
Mhm.
And you see him, he's a white Caucasian. And I'm going to just put it out there. But for real, I believe African American men need therapy as well. And I believe if African American man, like a superstar, now you have like LeBron James, he does like the meditation yoga type deal. He has a thing called Calm, and that's good. It's like meditation. But what I'm trying to find out that you really need therapy. Men really need to go to therapy. So I really want to hear from y'all men. How do y'all feel about therapy? Because it was like the younger people felt like that they didn't need it. Like,
but see, I think that is the whole stigma. I think when it comes to the younger generation or our era, starting probably within our era and down, a lot of times I feel like it's a mess that they have to have everything under control. And it's like asking for help. It's almost like that pride thing. I'm just going to say what I feel. And then it's also shown as a sign of weakness, like they're not able to handle the issues of life, whether it be from the job, from relationships, and different things of that magnitude. So my thing is, I think sometimes I feel like they might feel as if though, and I'm like I said, this is just my thoughts. I think that they see it as a sign of weakness, and then if they go like, who really is going to sit here? They're never been really taught to make their feelings or express or speak on their feelings. So to go to a therapist and try to sit there, because basically that means you have to deal with the things that's going on with you internally. Mm-hmm. And how they probably mask it different ways by, I feel, probably taking on doing different things, whether it be, drinking, different stuff of that magnitude. They might, running women, unfortunately. I mean, they express their feelings differently than us as women would do. Being we are more emotional, we are more susceptible to express our vulnerabilities.
Right. But you also got to understand that there is definitely a difference between generations, because our older generations, like our fathers, as well as maybe people that might be in our generation as well, they were taught in their households that they had to suck it up and they had to be a man.
And see that, yes.
And whereas versus the generations after us, and now they are more freely to express themselves, so they wouldn't have a problem to express themselves. Whereas, like I said, versus the men, the older gentlemen, they had to suck it up. They couldn't show no emotions, and if they did, they were looked or viewed as weak.
Yeah. Okay, so Dice Master, I see where you said maybe therapy isn't therapeutic. So if you could give us some feedback as being a male, why do you feel that it wouldn't be therapeutic?
Yeah, how do you feel? Like, why would you feel that way?
That it wouldn't help. Like,
and this is coming from a man. I want to know. And then Tina said, men don't want to talk to a stranger about their business, my opinion. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel. But the feedback.
But you got to understand this, because I see a whole diverse of people that I see and work with. But I will say this, that there are more women in therapy than there is men. However, most times that men do seek therapy is because it is required or mandated by law. Usually, even if they had a DUI or some type of drug charge,
and that's the only time that they actually
go to therapy, or what we say treatment, where they have to do like an OP for like several months up to a year, and it's very inconvenient for them. But I mean, if you're resistant to the process, of course you're going to make it harder on yourself. So the best thing to do is just to go along with it. But then they'll start to find out and see that that it really does help just talking to people. But I think for so many people, like I said, at our age and our generation, honestly, I think they have their friends, and if you have friends, you talk to your friends. That's who they rely to for the most part. Yeah, they talk to your friends. But I mean, hey, not all friends going to give the best advice though.
Exactly, because it'll be more biased than unbiased. Yeah. And Dice Master, I see where you say how many forms of therapy are there. There's multiple different types of therapy.
Yes, they are.
There is one that you can do.
Thank you, love.
Yes. You can do there. Well, depending upon what you're actually stating, there the different forms of therapy would be like the family. You have the chemical dependencies. There's mental health.
Yeah.
There's different forms of therapy that is out there.
Okay, can you come on here and
No,
because he's saying something.
Some men are just strong-minded and don't value others' opinions. He can voice from there. That's good. And
okay, if he don't want to come on here,
he's on here, but he's just not physically here. So
yeah.
But
thank you for just
thank you, Kenny.
Yeah.
But friends give you what you want to hear, and that's what I'm saying. Sometimes, and then some can be in misery too.
Yes.
If they're in a place where they're miserable, they're going to be speaking from their place.
But I want to know from a man's point of view, like if you have friends out there that's your friends and your dogs or your road dogs that like,
well, that's what they call them. They're
dogs,
they're
road
homies.
Dogs, the homies. You mean to tell me they're not going to be real with you? You would want somebody to be real with you because as a friend, I would have to be real with that person.
Or have an accountability person.
Yes.
That's in that life. That's in your life that you actually could go to. I'm sorry because I almost choked on my saliva. But but anyway, I just thought about that. So.
Friends give you what you want to hear. Right. That's how I feel. They give you what you want to hear. Oh. They're not really, if you're a true friend should be, and I think that's how we are. Real friends tell you what you need to hear
and not what you want to hear. If they are true, genuine friends, if they want to see you grow and improve, that is absolutely right. I feel they will let you know. Dyson said, if isolation works, why is your definition of therapy standard for someone? If isolation works, why is your definition of therapy standard for someone?
If isolation works,
what do you
in
mean?
regards to isolation, as far as what?
Yeah, are you saying isolating yourself or?
I meditate, by the way, but I'm trying to find the same answers as you through questions.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with meditation.
Yes, that's actually helpful. That's a good therapeutic way to channel. The thing is really going within and embracing the root causes of whatever is going on internally. So it's nothing wrong with doing that. It's just an added benefit because basically that's some of the tools and equipments that therapists share as one of the tools that you can actually do to go within to deal with whatever problems. And it's a healthy way of dealing with it versus doing something.
It's coping strategies.
Yes, it's a coping. Yes. You'd rather using other different types of coping mechanisms that are more negative.
Right. Exactly. There's nothing wrong with meditation.
Yes, meditation helps.
Not isolation. We don't want to isolate.
You don't want to go in, you might have to go in hermit mode and remove yourself from different things. Because I've actually did that for myself. Outside of therapy, I had took the time where I had to cut myself off from people and stuff, and I just grounded myself in nature.
But there's reasons why you had to do that.
Yeah, I grounded myself in nature and meditate. I listened to meditation sounds. There's different things out here that were therapeutic to help get me grounded so that the mind would not be racing as much and having so many thoughts, being overwhelmed with the day-to-day activities where I can just be still. So how is one diagnosed with needing therapy, and whose definition of therapy are we going off? Well, basically,
I don't know how old you are. I'm not quite sure your age, Mr. Dicemeister Clipper Hands. But the only thing I would say about this is about therapy. If you feel that you have a friend that has been there with you and he, share some good sound advice with you, there's nothing wrong with that. But you got to be careful with that because sometimes our friends can, depending on the situation and the topic that y'all might be discussing, because it could be about happiness, about his lover, his significant other, it could be about his children or something. Depending on the topic, you have to be careful of what you disclose to your friends. That's the only thing I'm going to say about that. But as
And
far
then
as
says-
needing,
Yeah.
needing, what?
And then he
what-
said, whose definition of therapy are we going off of?
okay.
And then needing therapy.
Just growing up and dealing with childhood trauma. Not everybody had childhood trauma, but it doesn't mean that everybody's life is perfect. You might not need therapy, but for those who do need therapy and don't seek therapy, I do believe that they have a harder time in life going through life and experience life as it should be, because they could, I'm not going to say subconsciously, but they wind up with an addiction that they don't want, and
because of, again, relying on a different type of coping mechanism, dealing with
to deal with
the
situation
may be. Dante, hey Dante, I was saying to you earlier, he said sometimes it's family that tell you what you want to hear, or not even what needs to be said, which is why people stray away and isolate. I felt it was better for me to remove myself from a lot of people,
including family,
because they were toxic. It was the best thing I've ever done. And sometimes you have to do that because you have to look at the generational things that y'all take on, the dynamic of the relationship, whether it's healthy. And then that was some things that, like I said, and that's something, like I said, speaking from experience for myself, that is something I had to deal with. But the therapy was like an added tool. So it's not saying that who done it, you can make the choice whether or not you want to go to therapy. Yeah. It's not saying that enforced, but most times it is stated that the men normally don't go to therapy unless it's court ordered, or it's something extreme as that spouse or person or breakup that try to keep the woman because the woman might sit there and make it an ultimatum. Mm-hmm. So those are the different contributing factors that will cause a person, far as men wise, I would say, if I might be wrong, let me know, that would drive them to take on. Usually, that's the therapy. That's the statistics. I mean, I feel that's what it is for the most part, to answer your question. And Dante, you're absolutely right. You have to find out what is those unhealthy, toxic traits and characteristic traits that you try to break, because the change starts with us. Mm-hmm. That's why I say you got to be the change. After a while, they say when you know better, you do better. And that is a true saying. So once you know there is a change and you going around the same mountain doing the same things and expecting a different result is insanity. So you have to start doing things that's different. You have to start evaluating and actually taking a look at the things that is going on internally, and then start working on the things that's wrong with you, because sometimes we all keep pointing and want to play victim when we are not the victim. Like I had a place where there were some things I brought on myself because of, I always told my kids, choices. At the end of the day, it still all boils down to choices. You have a choice to go to therapy or utilize therapy, or you don't. It's up to you. Yes, ma'am. How does one realize or come to understand that they need therapy? How does one convince another? I believe most brothers shy away from the idea of therapy because of systematic and generational and idealism, anger, and aggression. That's another thing that draws people to go. Now, as far as convincing someone to go, like I said, I'm a firm believer. I'm not going to push my beliefs. The same thing with far as what my belief is religion-wise, because I have a relationship with God, but then there's religion. So with me, within my religion, like I don't impose or project or try to force my opinions on anyone, but I, however, will suggest. And so if you were a friend, I was like, hey, bro, especially if you're coming from a space where you're steady dealing with things and you done try all other means to try to cope with whatever is going on with your day to day. Like when my sisters and them, we all talk amongst ourselves. Sometimes we're therapeutic for one another because we're able to sympathize, empathize, and still giving the truth. Like my sister here doesn't like the way I do. She feels like she's more sympathetic, but everybody knows I'm still a sweet, loving, sympathize, and I have compassion. But mine is like to an extent, because it's like once you already went there. Like, but I'm saying to an extent, it's still there.
I was trying to take compassion out though.
No, we're not going to take compassion because I still have a sense of compassion. I just have I think a condition with minds on some things because it's like after so long,
Take that out.
when will we learn from those things? But everybody does in their own pace. So it was just my perspective and thing on that.
Take that out. But
he's 32, by the way. Wow.
Okay. I'm gonna say, Dice Master, I appreciate your comments. Thank you for your
yes.
comments.
All other guys, y'all want to jump in?
Yes, please jump in. Because I'm really wanting to know the male point of view. Because like what she just said, my husband on the other
Jones. Go ahead.
He said no compassion. On the other hand, like she just said, like you won't do therapy unless it's an ultimatum. And it shouldn't be an ultimatum. It shouldn't have to go through the courts. It shouldn't have to go that far. You should want to do it willingly because you want to fix yourself. Like you want to feel like, okay, there's something wrong with me. And I
see,
know
that's
there's
what they
something
think.
wrong.
And I think that's the other stigma. Y'all feel like, oh, it means that something's wrong with me. It's not so much that it's something wrong with you. It's being able to deal with what's going on within you.
He on YouTube talking.
Where Kenny? We need to hear from him.
He's on YouTube.
He's on YouTube, Tina.
She told him not to come on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was trying to get him in here, but
she said no, not
where Kenny? We need to hear from him.
Yeah, he's talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's talking, but he's on the YouTube site talking. So
that's what I just said. Tell the truth.
But nonetheless,
So I'm the only reason why I'm bringing it up because now today in society, you know, the men, you had them going back to jail, and you have. And, you know, with the mental health and stuff, they're scared to talk about mental health. They're scared to talk about the anxieties that they go through on an everyday, daily basis. Mm-hmm. And it's nothing to be ashamed about.
Exactly.
Like, no. So I feel like if it was African-American it don't even have to be a superstar because they are starting to put plugs out there for real.
Yes,
now about mental health.
Yes.
And about being on, you can call them on now. It's just like, you know how they had the sex line or now they're talking about it being on, you know, on our phones because we all on our internet. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, so if Michael Phelps can do it, some other brother I feel can represent and say, okay, be the face and stand up and say, yeah, I go through this. Oh, I mean, why did it have to take a brother? I don't know, but I'm just saying they should not be scared of saying this. Like you have other women out there to say, okay, I had bipolar, I had anxiety. You have superstars, young superstars,
social anxiety, all different types of,
and believe it or
mental,
not, I'm gonna go
disorders,
there. I'm gonna go there.
Personality.
I'm gonna go there. Asians, I'm gonna go there. They have anxiety disorder as far as being on stage and stuff like that with all of that. I'm going there, but I'm just saying it's just yes, okay, whatever. But I'm saying, but as far as men, I feel that as far as our African American male men, how strong men, that don't make you weak. That makes you more stronger. And that's what I really want to say.
That's what needs to be kind of shared. Far as not trying to so much yes, Tina, she talking about her Asians. She's got her Asians. You know,
Asians.
She's into these Asian people. Not nothing against them. I'm just saying she watched a show and all that in Asians. But nonetheless.
Yeah, that did.
No, that's why I say what I said. So I counteract that by saying what I said. But because I don't got nothing in them, I'm just saying that's her thing.
But I mean, they go through depression like everybody else. Some of them can come out.
What we need to realize is with depression, you have different types of and different forms.
Now I'll let you. Explain that.
I mean, it could be situational. It could be seasonal. I mean, you could lose a job. I think we had like a podcast on this before, but you can lose your job, and you know, bills could pile up. and that can start a form of depression. You know what I mean? You're not wanting to do anything and this because stuff is just starting to become too heavy. The world, you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. That can be depressed. That can cause you to be depressed. Not only that, if you have a death in your family, that can cause you to become depressed. As you know what I mean, as it probably would. You know what I mean? Anybody losing someone that they love, of course. You know what I mean? It's going to cause them to, to grieve. So the thing is it's not just the women that goes through these emotions. Men goes through them as well. But again, I think it is more, it is kind of taboo for the Black man to actually attend therapy. I do see more of the white males come.
Thank you. I was going to say. Yes, I was going to say that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they come in, and some are willing to come in, and not recommended by
now
the courts.
She's in that realm. So she really is in that realm. That's her field.
But as far as the Black male, they are. It's very few and far between. And I think when they see that they have either a Black counselor or a therapist or a doctor, and like we're out here and we we can assess you guys and we can help you guys as much as we can, as much as you allow us to do, because you have to come in willing to open up.
That's the key. Open and willing,
and knowing that whatever you do discuss with us, it stays with us.
And that's the other thing, that is private.
As long as you're not trying to hurt yourself or hurt anybody else.
And Dice Mercer goes to say, this is basically what he's trying to say with the base principle. From what I just overread a little bit, he said fight, and of course, SS are instilled by the age of 4 for most Black boys. Afterwards, he said there's anger and aggression, aside from compassion, sadness, hurt, etc., are wildly and even solely the only emotion allowed by Black men. He said, now that we exhibit what we've been taught, now we need therapy. So we're stuck with the obstacle of reprogramming you. So I believe therapy in all its forms should be taught to our boys prior to them understanding what it even is.
Amen.
And that's true. It has to be embedded that it's not bad. Eric jumps in and says, don't leave out that most men struggle with spiritual strong. Woo! You got that on the nose right there, honey. These spiritual strongholds. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. These struggles can only be broken by the power that's stronger than the average session of therapy.
Amen.
Which was God for us. Yes. And that is another thing. I think that's another reason why it's
I can't help it.
For some, I'm not going to say all. That's why I wanted to make sure that I said some, not all, because you do have some of our African-American men who are willing and able to, and even being in the church. And we can get some of our church, but the thing was the family has been broken down since some of the slavery days, is like to keep us divided, and and the system tries to keep us divided. But if we come back together, if they come back together and you work together in your family unit, we can actually overcome and be victorious over this system of trying that status quo where you have to be the strong Black man, or you have to take on your burdens by yourself, because the strongholds come in when you're not allowed to express what it is that you're feeling. And sometimes all it is laying and going before God. That's why I said to stay grounded and rooted. Take yourself into nature. And I think some men do other things like that are good, like go fishing. That is a healthy thing to do to relax your mind, and not doing something that's negative or putting toxins in the bodies and all that type of stuff. I'm not trying to down or judge, but I'm saying because everybody has their vices, but at the same time, we're just trying to say there are some healthy coping mechanisms that some Black men do take, like fishing with their buddies and stuff. Keeps a grounded state of mind. What other? Most will go to the gym. Like I find that most of the men, because therapy is just the same thing as like going to the gym. Who's to say you're going for your triceps? You're going to make your body better. You're going to strengthen. It's the same thing that you're doing for your muscles. You want to do for your mind. You want to do for your heart, your spirit, man. So yes, I really do feel like
therapy would.
Thank you. Thank you for your feedback.
Thank you.
But I think definitely.
Oh my God! Thank you.
It definitely would be of help.
Thank you. That's all I'm asking y'all for, y'all feedback, because it really is a spiritual thing. And I really appreciate you, Eric, for you saying that, because it is a lot of strongholds there. It starts from childhood, but you know what also is the key to? It's also about loving yourself. It's about your self-awareness. It's about, you know what I'm saying? Because y'all so prone to, I have to be that provider. I'm always that provider.
You in South Africa? Good God. I just want you guys to know that you've been doing a great job and you're seeing in South Africa. It's Queens. One of my friends has told me that.
Thank you. Bless
right.
you.
Bless
but
you.
I just thank God, because, you know, I just feel like it's time for us to reach out to our men. I'm not trying to bash my husband. I just want help. I feel that men need help. I feel that men need,
because they get broken and they get disappointed, upset, and hurt.
Yes.
And it can be, they act out other ways. Like it can be through anger, or they are more edgy. The anxiety is there and they don't even know that it's anxiety. Like even with dealing with my man, yes. The thing is, I know that sometimes, like when he goes to express certain ways, it's because that's how he's been prone and groomed to deal with things. And I'm here as a person in his life to say that you don't have to do that by yourself, that you have somebody here to help, you know, talk to or take on, and who actually genuinely cares about what you feel and just to share. But I have realized to just step back, because when he's ready, he'll share. And the thing is to be able to be in a comfortable space to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But sometimes he can be a little edgy and stuff, and then it's like, okay, I'm
but see, the thing is the trigger is a trigger. What Tina said, man.
Man, fiance. I almost let the yes, fiance. Man, fiance, I'm claiming him. He's spoken for. I'm spoken for.
Yeah, he's spoken. That he is. But I feel that the men today, because you know what it is, men want respect. And I know they want respect, but if you're not, how can I put it? You want respect, but then some men don't. Like, you want to give it. What did he say?
Do you have a clubhouse group? This would be a dope group.
Oh,
no. Actually, no. I don't even know about it. That's something new to us.
No.
Y'all the younger generation, so I don't even know what you're talking about. Clubhouse group, but okay.
We'll look into it though.
Yes, we'll definitely look into that.
Yeah, but I really feel that my heart goes like towards the men that is like suffering and need help.
And the thing is,
you know how.
I'm gonna tell you what I applaud. I've noticed that now some of our African American men are stepping up. Like I seen a new podcast of different men that are branching out and coming out at a table and having like a group chat. Like they have like a chat where they're actually being able to voice all the stigmas. I forgot the name of the person.
Is it Drinking Champs? Is that what Noriega?
Or somebody. So it's like a podcast, and it's dealing with men where they're able to actually elaborate on the stuff as far as what they had to entail. But it's not diverse. It's basically
not the table talk. Not with Gina and Jada and Will. We talking about
that's Red Table. No, she's got it right. It's a new podcast on FB, and you too. Be blessed as well.
Thank you.
But yes, it's a podcast that's out here now where they're doing it.
Drinking Chance with Nori, and his people, his friends.
Yeah, something.
But see, they drink during the podcast, and like most people, even with like bloggers, you know what I mean.
But you got to get them in their comfort zone, sis. You got to get them where.
But that's the whole thing. You got to be able to, without any type of substance. Because when you do the substance, you're in a whole altered state of mind.
Your mental state.
So
not to be judgmental, I can understand from that point of view.
That's the whole purpose of substance. That's some people need it because they don't want.
But they're trying to make
they call it the liquid encourager.
Yeah, they don't want to feel what they're feeling. So that's why they use substance.
I mean, I understand that, but I'm just saying,
when you're
you want
talking
them
and you're
comfortable, though.
expressing,
Don't you want them comfortable?
yeah, that's why they're in the room by themselves with the therapist. They can either lay down, sit up. I mean, we will have water, tea, soda, but
yeah, it's a true serum, all right. The truth comes out when you have a drink you drink.
and
See,
besides,
this is
when you
crazy.
come to the therapist, you're not allowed to have any alcohol or
No.
any substance. Period.
No.
So,
But and your friend supposed to have his own man thing with his.
yes, he is.
But what I'm saying is, I feel that men, you know, like I said, the respect thing, and we always talking about the Me Too movement and everything, but the black men are, you know, the ones that work hard, is out here, that's holding it down for their families. You know, I see y'all,
but they gotta have a comfortable space to be able to, and like she said, sometimes to be able to, vent to that person that they know that's going to be truthful. They're not going to be biased. They're going to be unbiased. And that's, if you find a true, genuine friend, it makes it easier. Then you can say that y'all can grow together. I mean, that's how I would feel.
I think sometimes men want to talk to other men, and then you have some men that want to come in and talk to women. They be specific of who they want to talk to.
That's even like when they go to the doctors. Eric says, here's something else. He said the black man has lost his identity. He fails to understand who he is, which causes him to stand on a true foundational structure. He has lost the respect of the woman because she's playing the role of father and mother. Amen. And must realize what it means to be created in the image of his maker. Ladies, your platform is on point tonight. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. And that's the whole thing. Like I said, if we can get back to the original foundation of fathers being in the home, the original structure, because like I said, the system is going to create a division. And if they create a division, even within the system, me and my fiance has talked about this. Because I just want to say, we talked about this, and he was saying, Annie, look at it. I can get him is you up? I think he went to sleep on me. He was talking about the structure of how the system even make up far as women when they receive assistance. The only way they can receive assistance is how? If they put the man on child support.
True.
That's the division. Because if they try to make it on their own and that thing, he says, so there's a division there through the system. Then he said, and then when you do, if you don't, then what else? He's like, so there's stipulations and restrictions that prevent them from even trying to be involved. And that's how they keep the division. And then therefore the women are struggling. And then we become, so independent that then at times now we erase the gender roles. And because of our politically correct wanting to be feminist and wanting to be created equally. Yes, but physically we are not. Mentally.
I also think
but sometimes
these single women are raising these young black men.
Exactly. Young black men.
So they're going to learn their ways from their mothers. And I'm not going to say that it's just mothers raising. They do have
your fathers out here as well.
So, you know what I mean?
So the thing is, we looking at it, and I'm a very open-minded person. We look at it from all spectrums. Yeah. And the thing is, we have to take all these things into consideration, because the thing is, they act like married people don't have struggles. Yes, that too. Married people have struggles too, as well. I mean, everybody has different forms of things that we struggle with. Even with when it comes to situations as far as depression, dealing with what she said, the situational depression, the seasonal depression, because my child, like I have children from anxiety, suffer from anxiety, situational depression, different things when the season change, because of, needing that vitamin D that you get with the sun and stuff makes you more vibrant and want to go do things, versus when it gets wintertime, it's dark, mostly it gets dark early, you in the house and thing, and people got to sit one with their thoughts. And then the thing is, the mind is truly a battlefield, and we have to be careful. And the thing is of what and where our thoughts carry us, and then how we cope with the things that's going on within us as people, as individuals. So the thing is, that is what some, I feel, use the different other types of coping mechanisms that are kind of negative because, again, as Sis stated, they don't want to feel that feeling. It's they trying to numb what it is that they're feeling because they don't want to feel that type of emotion because they're taught not to be vulnerable with their emotions because then they're seen as weak. And by far, you're not weak. But when I feel like we should applaud as women, if you're in a healthy relationship, applaud and give man that room to be able to express their feelings when they come to you and not throw it back at them and use it to demasculate them and all types of that nature, because that a lot of stuff goes on there as well because we done been so strong so long and wanting to hold it down or we gonna make ends meet and all of that we forget. That's why I said you can't sit here and say that we don't need a man. That's not how God created.
Let the man be the man.
Yes, you have to, as women, if you have the right person, you gotta have to learn how to, pull back the reins. And it's not to say that you saying, oh, we need a man to depend on. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that God created a certain way in which he has governed us. And the thing is, when you find the right person, but a lot of people has done been hurt so much when it comes to men, when it comes to relationships, a lot of things, the main things you don't mess with a man, their money and their honey. And it's like they go to battle and war for things of that nature. And their children, I'm sorry, for the ones that are involved. But at the same time, you also got to look at the ones that are behind when they always locking them up too. And they become institutionalized. They become institutionalized. That's all they know. So then they find themselves back in the system in an institution because then that becomes familiar. And then that's a whole nother different type of struggle that they're taking on.
And it keeps them from they have to wait till they get into those institutions to seek help.
Yes. And it is only then that sometimes when they'll get the help that they need, because sometimes some people can use that time when they're within the closed environment. They really have no other choice but to deal with and actually unmask that feeling that they're feeling and deal with whatever issues, whether it be mentally or not. Like, we can acknowledge it faster as women than versus men, because then they'll feel like something's wrong with them when it certainly is not. A woman can never be complete without a man. It's godly structure. Exactly, basically what I'm stating. And that's why I said it's all good and dandy and said you don't need a man to to do the things that you do, but it's still something that everyone looks for. Be a woman. That's why God created woman from his womb, from Adam's womb. So therefore, it let us know we're a helpmate, but we're more the emotional. They have it physically, but we're more the emotional, vessels. Weaker vessels emotionally, because we can verbally express what we feel. Some of us, because then even with the men, women becoming so strong and running a home, they started taking on characteristics of the man and become manly.
And so that's why I said way that the system try to devise the man and the woman, especially the black man and the black woman. It is nothing wrong with the women getting degrees. There's nothing wrong with the woman, getting the bag and getting her money. You know what I mean? It's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, we wouldn't put on this earth to be the man.
And that's the thing. And I think that's where
we was on this earth. We was put on this earth to be the helpmeet.
Yes. And that is to support. And it's like finding the right person. I know that is because we talked about that when it comes to relationship. It is hard, but we are what we attract. Once you deal with the things that's going on with you, then you can be able to attract that which is healthy. Now, everybody's going to have problems. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, because it's not. Everybody comes to challenge. The healthy type of challenges and problems is the one where the relationship challenges you in a good way to take a look at yourself to make changes that you need.
Well, wait a minute. You got to make sure what's the good way and what's the bad way.
That's it. Because
you don't want to challenge every week. You don't want to challenge every week.
No, but I'm talking about challenges. I'm talking about good challenges, the thing that help you to grow.
Well, you need to make an example, because with challenges
like if they see something within where you might want to grow, whatever your goals is, whether it be mentally, physically, say go work out, or you want to goals to increase or become an entrepreneur, or spiritual growth. There's different arenas. If there's no growth or areas that you might be, lacking weak, that the woman can help increase, and vice versa. Bring strength to, because it's got to be a balance. That's the thing.
A good thing for a woman to do. is to pray over her man.
Oh, yes, sir. You never can
pray,
go wrong with that.
You can always pray with your man.
Likewise. And I'm gonna say, like, sometimes I used to feel bad, like even with my first marriage. I mean, even though he didn't mind, he didn't stop me from going to church and stuff or anything like that. But to be able to pray with him and all that type of stuff, it was like, I'm not gonna say unheard of because I don't want to speak bad about him.
I want to tell you this though. He did say something when he went through the COVID situation. He was telling me that he knew how to talk to God. And to hear that coming from my ex-brother-in-law is good, because to hear from a person that act like they didn't need God, that God don't exist, to now that God is like my everything, and he was like, I'm at peace. It was good to hear that. It really was good to hear that. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you know what? My sister did her job. I just feel like this. We're in your lives for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
God made us to be in your lives for a reason.
Yeah.
Just like you were in our lives for a reason. And like I tell my husband, like, you're that rock that I need. When a woman feels safe, she's not going nowhere, y'all. She's not going nowhere.
The stability, the love, the loyalty, the compassion.
She's not going
when
nowhere.
It's there, you don't have to worry, and you definitely don't. And
but
that's
you
the
have
other
to.
Thing.
My thing at the end of the day, you have to love yourself,
and that's where it begins. It really do all begin with self-love. Because if you're not going to be able to know how to love anyone else, if you don't even know how to love yourself, that means deal with your insecurities, deal with your shortcomings, and know that it's okay. It's part of who you are. Like there's things like they tell me, like I can get going about certain things, but it's okay. It's who I am. I embrace it because it's who I am.
Yes.
And that's what I come to learn, because then we are our own worst critics.
Yes.
Me as a woman, I know I am. And it's like I challenge myself all the time to want to learn different information, take in information, read information, take in things, learn different things, learn new things. And it's okay.
You're right.
It is okay.
It's okay.
Yes, it is okay. It's okay sometimes. Every day, I know I'm probably the most positive person y'all see on my daggone pods. So the ones that are friends with me, I know they just seem like, oh, this girl done posted something positive all the time.
You don't like them? You don't?
No, she
like
said,
them?
okay, mom, with the lashes. But my whole thing is that does not to say I don't have a bad day. I do. I just choose to eliminate the negative and focus on the positive. I'm looking at the glass half full. It's not to say that I'm not going to hurt, that I'm not feeling those emotions. I choose not to allow that emotion to consume me, because I can be in a lot worse place. So still, like the book of, like Paul said, you got to learn how to be content, not comfortable, but content. To know that everything is going to be all right. It's okay to feel those emotions. Embrace those emotions. Just don't stay there. Basically, just don't stay there.
I'm learning.
Yes,
I'm literally learning. Like even with my husband, I'm learning. But now I'm like Dylan. I looked at Pastor Lisa Armstrong with her.
Oh, I love her. She's a friend of ours.
Yes, and I love what she said. She was saying about codependency, covenant, and what
you got to evaluate your circle as far as friendship, relationships in general, whether it's of convenience, codependency, or I forgot
covenant.
Whether it's covenant, convenience, or convenience or codependency.
Yes, Eric said something else.
Y'all gonna make me preach tonight. When we understand the measures of true love, it will cover all within the relationship of life.
And
amen.
We preach.
We're gonna pass you off from play. You must attend church.
Yes,
you must attend the church. You are the church, but you must attend the building. But,
yes,
it is. We definitely like, and then sometimes you can be a spiritual person and not quite naturally have to be in the building. So I'm just making fun, just putting it out there. But at the same time, we do have to embrace that part of us too as well, because sometimes that does make a difference. I can tell you, take proud of yourself. You can set.
You can see it, Mom.
You're loving yourself. Go ahead with your bad self.
Thank you, baby.
Take pride in yourself. She meant. Yes, and I mean, and it's growth. And when you start learning, and just like with
Thank
her
you.
being in active therapy now, and then it's up like you got couples therapy. That me and my fiance, you have different types of therapy and stuff that is therapeutic in a sense, that is helpful, but you have to be a willing, open-minded person.
Because that's what I said. The therapist is there because see, a couple, okay, a person, two people in a relationship, they are going to point each other's flaws out. Okay. You need somebody, an arbiter, that's going to be like, okay, let me give you a couple exercises that y'all can work on together.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
Because they're going to be more unbiased.
Exactly. They're definitely not going to take sides. They're going to point out both of y'all's flaws and give you some exercises that you both can work on.
Exactly.
The thing is about applying what you learn in the sessions, because trust me, they will work.
And they will, but it will have to be the discipline is when they will have to come in to utilize them to know how to redirect or walk away when you're frustrated, to attack each other and then say hurtful words. That is what most people all hang on to. And then it's no coming back from that. So even within my emotions, because like we were just talking about this, everybody's like, my sister was somebody I can't take an Annie approach because of the way I can control my emotions to an extent. I don't flare up as quick. I don't flare up as quick. And people call it passive aggressive on some things, but at the same time, meek is not weak. It's not so much that I'm passive. It's just that I choose to control my emotions. And then some other things, I am being passive because I choose not to deal with it.
Thank you.
And I can acknowledge that because I really don't want to deal with it. And I ain't going to deal with it.
I'm glad you straightened that.
So yes, before they even start trying to go in.
Yeah, because
my other thing, because I ignore, like I said, my issue is ignoring. So, but the thing is,
but that's not a healthy
therapy
tactic.
Told me. That's what I'm saying. When I went to therapy, they told me,
and I'm gonna tell you what
and
else
I carried that
healthy.
into this relationship.
Can
I'm
I
not
tell
going to
you
do
what else
that
is not
silent
healthy?
treatment because I wasn't done. Because silent treatment is a form of manipulation.
It is.
Yes.
And people don't realize that.
Yes.
Being
but we have all learned that well.
Yes.
From my mother. It is not a very good tactic, but we've learned it's so hard. It's so
girl sex.
Tina, well, you go and find out for us. What does the sex?
No, she don't need to find out.
The sex therapist.
Telling my business. Y'all can stop putting me out there like that.
Not with just like positions or something. They help more or less on a mental level.
Yes.
They stimulate you.
Yes, because some might be hard to stimulate, and it's for women and men. And the reason why you have to implement different things.
Let me say this. Some men are not truthful of what stimulates them to their wives or their partners.
And that's why sometimes they go outside because they rather get that from
you never know how
but you never know
it is. You know what I mean? Just talk to her. Let her know and see. Okay,
and that's another thing. Make yourself vulnerable. And the thing is, it's up to us to say yes or no.
Girl, Tina, you open a can of words with that one.
Yes, because then you'll know what boundaries a person, but you never know what your mate might be willing to do to keep things spiced in
you have not because
marriage.
Not discuss it.
So they tell a therapist instead of the one they with.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. They can tell the therapist, but then the therapist should be giving them tools in a way in which they should be able to express it to you as well.
And they will.
That's the thing.
They will. They can do some role playing right there in the sessions. I mean, there's different exercises that they
and then couple therapy
that will help.
Because the couple therapy, this is the thing. When it comes to the couple therapy, what they do, and which I know I like, they're going to take you individually at first. You have a couple sessions individually, and then afterwards, this is the new ones. I don't know about some of the other ones, and then they're going to have sessions where they bring you in because they're going to get your individual situation or issues you may have. Then they're going to bring you together, and then they'll talk with you and speak with you about the different things that you can do and tools and equipment as far as addressing the issues that's going on within the marriage. The therapist will help them. All right, I bet. Girl, what kind of therapy?
Let me. Some men have some of the engrossed ideas of what you just be surprised, and some are not, and some are
But yeah, but they have to actually be willing. You never know what your partner might be into or like.
Thank you.
But
Eric,
sometimes, yes,
thank
you definitely, yes, you between you, Tina, and Dice Master. But but the thing is, you got to be willing to share that and be vulnerable enough. So again, they might think, oh, they might in their mind because of all the women they went through, they might think that their woman is and they don't want to see her that way. But you just never
man want to see their woman like that.
Yeah, but if you do that act, I'm sure it's in the back of their head. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure. What? Like that's why I feel step outside of it despite of the excitement is gone. What they once did, because remember we had a podcast about that. If they're not doing the same things that they did when they first met the people.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this.
And you had times where you're not gonna like your person. So
we done talked about like I brought a topic up about menopause. So with that being said, men have changes as well.
They go through as well.
Men have changes as well,
especially when they're aging, when they're becoming older.
So you cannot you just cannot,
things is not going to be able to be operated.
You can't just blame it all on the woman. Men have changes as well, and we're in that stage where right now life does change. So I'm just saying, I thank God.
Yo, wait a minute. Yeah, put it on that.
I know you're doing more than me.
That's a lot.
But I appreciate y'all feedback. I love the feedback. Man, keep it coming. I really appreciate y'all feedback.
Yes, we thank y'all for y'all feedback on tonight because we are definitely drawing near that.
I'm glad that y'all men are talking out here because I really feel that the men need love out here. They need to vent, but like the younger men, like my nephew, he feels that it don't help. Like he'd rather vent. Like one guy, the same age as my nephew, said his venting, he'd rather feel that he went to his family, like his
because the family know his immediate,
his immediate family,
because they know, they really know.
But the older people felt like, if it's gonna help you and understand, I will do it. Like, and that came from the older men. Like, if it's gonna help and make a difference, I feel that.
Tina, you're crazy. She said I need a therapeutic song. Go ahead. I'm ready to put your plug out there, though. Go ahead and finish what you were saying, sis.
So I feel that, yes, this is time for the brothers, because times are near and you don't know what that the man needs. Like, you don't know what, because like I was telling my husband, well, he was telling me that men do have emotions, because I was like, oh, you got emotion?
They do.
Like, really?
They do have emotion. It's that they act on it different. Again, like we were saying, they act on it differently. Exactly. But before we conclude, I just want to throw this out there. This is from a girlfriend of mine on here that's on the podcast with us, Tina Taylor. She said, hey guys, this is from one of her, I guess, the ones on the team. Hey guys, let's spread the word that DH2B will be having a fundraiser at Chipotle tonight from 5 to 9 South Salisbury by SU. And there's 3 ways to participate. You can do paper flyer, show cashier, the flyer on your phone, or order online and enter the promo code. And the promo code I have, if anybody wants that, I can definitely inbox you that information or forward that information to you. But again, the word is that DH2B will be having a fundraiser at Chipotle tonight from 5 to 9 at South Salisbury by SU. And I have all the details. And it's called Do Good with Chipotle, DH2B. So that's a basketball team. So if I'm not mistaken, if I'm right team. So
yes, please we want to support all our youth as much as we can.
As much as possible.
Support each other as much as we can as well.
Okay, and then with these final things that's coming in, Eric was saying most relationships struggle because it's more about sex than family. If marriage isn't in place, then you haven't arrived to what a true companionship stands for. And that is absolutely true.
Amen.
Because that is more lust than it is actual true genuine love. When you can find true genuine love where it's just more than elevate your or stimulates your insides as we go, your parts, your bodily parts, you're definitely onto something. And it is a covenant. It is an agreement that you have to make with God. You have to, it's all about discipline and where your mindset is. Right. And you just have to pray before God. Because like I said, when you get out of that, when a woman starts wanting to be messing around or a man starts wanting to be, they have a term for F boys and or women's or whatever they want to call, then you become subtle minded, and then that's when you really look for true companionship, someone who's there for the long term, where you can actually engage and you can grow and you can learn from one another. Yes. And that's what I mean by the good challenges. Is sex demons. It's sex demons out. Unfortunately, yes, you have nymphos. So it is. You do have sex demons out here. Succubus and incubus is what they're called.
And a lot of them are women.
And yes, sure is. Because baby, that's another thing Babe says too. He said, look, really? Yes. But he said, how are most of the men going to cheat? Seriously? They have to have a woman to cheat with. So
a lot of them are women.
I didn't know that.
But let me tell you another thing, because I might bring that up. And I might elaborate on it from my topic.
I didn't know that.
But listen, my thing is knowing our self-worth as women, because some women has been comfortable in being and knowing and staying in their lane as the side chick. Yeah. So what does that say? Why we value that? Guess what? That's going to be our next topic on next week. I'm going to come from that space where
really,
yes, because yes, we all women's been in that type of situation. I'm sure, like wanting to be the outside person to that relationship, and then we feel as if though we're inferior to that woman because we got rank, or we can pull, or we got what they have, or it's the power of the but it's not even about that. It's all about how you value yourself. When you become real serious about yourself and what you offer and what your body is sacred, and that's what I said, then you're really doing something. We need some side chicks to chime in. Tina, I am done with you tonight, girl.
We don't want none of them.
I don't want nobody bashing them either, because they coming from a place of hurt too. So that's why I want to elaborate on it.
You're right. You're right.
Because
we'll discuss that.
Yes.
Well, believe it or not, I was a side chick though.
But that's what I'm saying. They come.
Believe it or not, I was a side chick.
Like, but you there's still issues.
But it's because of things that has not been dealt with. So guess what? We'll be talking about it.
I did deal with it. I'm good though.
But you went through. Everybody has certain stages and times in their life and things that's going through. But that's what I'm saying. So it's not here to even bash them. But I don't think that we should put it on a pedestal like it's good to do, though.
No,
it's not healthy.
It's not.
You will want somebody for yourself, and then
that's and to
feel
exactly.
Yes, and then to feel
it really is,
and then to feel as if though you can't find that person that's solely just into you, or I'll accept anything. Is no, we get there because we're weak and we feel like we're not meeting the standard, so we accept anything that goes. We've all been there just to find and feel that love. That void that we're feeling.
Well, I just want to say thank you.
We're going to elaborate on that.
Thank y'all men out there for your views.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you for your feedback.
Your feedbacks. I really appreciate it, and I really feel like this. Men, love yourself. Men, go get help. Seek help.
There's nothing wrong. It doesn't make you
nothing
weak.
Wrong. It doesn't make you weak. Love yourself. The family is going to be there to support you.
And the structure will become strong.
Amen.
If we start loving on ourselves and taking care and pride, and I don't mean just going, getting nails and all that type of stuff, taking true, genuine self-care, getting rest, doing the healthy things, the ones that go to the gym, doing the different things, meditate, whatever it is that is a more healthy way to deal with things in life, it will get us back to where we need to be.
Meditate, but you know what?
Pray.
Sometimes we got to pray.
So, but yes.
Amen.
So that's
we gotta take the men gotta take back their position.
I definitely can love you some you.
He said, I love me some me.
And that's where it starts.
I'm proud of that.
And then the person that loves them, they'll know how to love that woman, that their significant other, their spouse. Mm-hmm. So that's where it all starts. We love y'all guys. Thank you for tuning in us. We catch y'all next week. Hopefully with no issues.
A good Thanksgiving.
Yes, have a happy
Thanksgiving. Be thankful. Be blessed. Yes. Be blessed.
Yes. Have a blessed night.
Be a blessing.